The fluorescent lights of the precinct flickered as if they, too, were tired of the long night. Their hum echoed off the cold linoleum floor, filling the room with a low, uneasy buzz. Officer Daniels sat at the front desk, one leg crossed over the other, his boots leaving faint scuffs on the counter he wasn't supposed to rest his feet on. His tablet glowed in his hands, illuminating the faint boredom on his face. He'd been scrolling through reports he barely cared about, half reading, half waiting for something, anything, to break the monotony. Then the front door creaked open. He didn't look up at first. He had heard thousands of doors in his career, but something, an energy shift, a quiet determination, made him lift his eyes. A woman stepped inside. Her coat was worn at the edges, the hem brushing the floor as if it had weathered places far rougher than this precinct. Her scarf hung loosely around her neck, and every step she took carried exhaustion, the kind that settled deep in the bones. But her eyes, sharp, focused, unyielding, were the kind that silenced rooms. She stopped at the desk, steadying herself with one hand. "I'd like to report my son missing," she said. Her voice didn't crack. It didn't waver. It was calm, measured, too calm for a panicking mother, Daniels thought. He barely glanced at her. "Name," she told him. Her son, 13 years old, last seen earlier that afternoon. Gone without explanation. No signs of a struggle. Just gone. Daniels sighed. "Ma'am, kids wander off. It's late. Maybe he's at a friend's house. You should check again in the morning." She blinked once, slowly. "I didn't come here for guesses. I came here to file a report." He waved a hand dismissively. "Look, I've got real cases to deal with. Missing teenagers don't count as missing until—" She placed a folder on the counter. It landed with a soft thud that made him pause. Inside the folder were neatly organized papers, notes, timestamps, witnesses she had already spoken to. Daniels frowned, flipping through them. Every detail was precise. Every movement accounted for. This wasn't sloppy panic. This was methodical. "Ma'am," he started, irritation creeping into his voice. "You can't expect us to launch a whole operation just because—" She cut him off with a stare that rooted him to his seat. "I expect you to do your job," she said softly. "That's all." The station grew colder. A few officers across the room paused in their work, watching the exchange out of the corners of their eyes. Daniels felt his authority being pulled from under him. He wasn't used to being spoken to like that. He leaned back, forcing an easy smirk. "Look, I get you're worried, but you have to understand how many cases come through here. I can't prioritize every parent who walks in scared." Her eyes narrowed, but her voice never rose. "Officer, file the report." The hum of the fluorescent lights thickened. Daniels felt a strange discomfort, something between shame and annoyance. Something about her unsettled him. The precision of her words, the way she held her ground even as fatigue weighed heavily on her shoulders. She didn't flinch. She didn't plead. She simply expected competence. Against his ego's will, Daniels opened the database and began typing. "Fine, I'll file it. But don't expect—" "Thank you," she said, cutting the rest of his sentence off. As she reached into her purse to retrieve her identification, a card slipped out. A driver's license. It slid across the desk and stopped inches from his hand. Daniels picked it up casually, then froze. The name. He knew it. Not personally, but professionally. Very professionally. His eyes darted from the ID to her face. His chest tightened. This woman wasn't just a mother. She was Lydia Harper, a nationally recognized civil rights attorney. The same Lydia Harper who had taken on 3 major police departments in wrongful arrest cases. The same Lydia Harper whose cross-examinations were dissected in legal circles like legendary battles. The same Lydia Harper who had shaken the foundations of institutions that believed themselves untouchable. A cold sweat crept down the back of Daniel's neck. She watched him calmly, not smugly, not triumphantly, just watching, as if waiting to see what he would do once he understood exactly who stood before him. He swallowed. "Ms. Harper, I didn't realize." "Now you do," she said, her voice still composed but carrying a quiet, unbreakable strength. "And now you understand why I don't leave matters like this to chance." Daniels nodded stiffly, fingers trembling slightly over the keyboard. He typed faster now, cleaner, more careful. He asked follow-up questions, the kind he should have asked from the beginning. As he worked, he could feel the weight of eyes on him. Other officers whispering, recognizing the name. When the report was finally filed, Lydia thanked him with a soft nod and turned to leave. The automatic doors slid open, and for a moment she stood in the frame, silhouetted in the streetlights. Daniels exhaled shakily. He had dismissed her. He had underestimated her. And he had done it because of the assumptions he'd been conditioned to make, assumptions about who deserves urgency, who deserves belief, who deserves respect. He stared at the completed report long after she'd left, the name Lydia Harper burning into his thoughts. But the night did not end there. The following morning, before sunrise, the precinct stirred with unusual movement. Officers rushed between desks. Phones rang. Radios hissed with static urgency. Daniels walked in groggy, still replaying the previous night in his mind, when Sergeant Matthews approached him. "Daniels," he said sharply, "you were the one who filed the missing child report last night, right?" "Yes, sir." Matthews' jaw tensed. "We found something." Daniels frowned. "The boy." "No, not yet." Matthews inhaled deeply. "But you need to see this." He led Daniels toward the surveillance room. Inside, detectives watched footage on repeat. Grainy video from a gas station 2 blocks from where the boy was last seen. Daniels leaned forward. There was the boy, walking alone, glancing behind him nervously. Then a dark SUV pulled alongside him. The passenger door opened. A man stepped out, tall, hooded, moving with intent. The boy froze. Daniels clenched the edge of the desk. The man grabbed the boy and forced him into the vehicle. The SUV sped off, disappearing into the night. A sickening silence filled the room. Daniel's heartbeat thundered in his ears. Matthews spoke quietly. "There's more." He pulled up another file. A second video. This time, recorded hours earlier, outside Lydia Harper's apartment building. The same SUV. The same man. Waiting. Watching. Not for the boy. For her. Daniel's stomach dropped. "Officer," Matthews said, his voice grave. "This wasn't a random kidnapping. Someone targeted this family." Daniel's hands shook. Someone had known Lydia Harper's name long before he did. And they weren't afraid of her reputation. They were challenging it. But the final blow came when Matthews handed him a printed photo. An image captured from enhanced footage. The man in the hooded sweatshirt turned briefly toward the camera. Enough to catch half his face. Daniels staggered backward. He recognized him. He knew exactly who it was. Someone connected to the precinct. Someone who should never have been near a kidnapping investigation. Someone who, if exposed, could take the entire department down with him. Daniels felt the air leave his lungs. Matthew's voice was barely a whisper. "What do we do now?" Before Daniels could answer, the front doors of the precinct slammed open. Lydia Harper walked in. And this time she wasn't tired. She was furious. Her eyes locked onto Daniels. "Officer," she said, her voice cold and trembling with barely contained anger. I know what you found. She stepped closer. And I know exactly who took my son. Daniel swallowed hard, because she was right, and the truth would destroy everything. But who is the kidnapper? Who would dare cross Lydia Harper? Drop your guesses in the comments below. Let us know who you think is behind this chilling crime. If you want to see the shocking truth revealed in the next part, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss a single twist in this gripping story.